The clan is a cracked stone ready to split. The fault line runs directly between two men, Kale, who leads with the patience of a stalking cat, and Bor, who leads with the fury of a rockside. They stand on opposite sides of a clearing, their hunters arrayed behind them not as a unified party, but as two distinct, mistrustful factions. Before them a herd of iguanodont grazes peacefully, their heavy bodies moving with a placid grace that belies the deadly carat and OUS spike on each thumb. For these early humans, a successful hunt is the glue that holds the community together. Today that glue is about to fail. Kale raises a hand, signaling for patience. The wind is shifting, carrying their scent towards the herd. He wants to wait to let the animals move into a more advantageous gully. But Bor has seen enough waiting. His faction is hungrier, his temper shorter. He gives a sharp, guttural cry, the signal to charge. The clan hesitates for a fatal second, torn between two alphas. Half the hunters surge forward with Bor, a disorganized wave of shouts and spears. The other half stays with Kale. Their movements aborted, their faces masks of confusion and anger. The perfect moment for a coordinated strike is shattered. The iguanodont herd erupts. Panic turns the gentle grazers into a 10-ton stampede. A huge bull, startled and enraged, rears up, its thumb spike flashing in the sun. One of Bor's younger hunters, caught in the chaos, is too slow. The spike catches him in the side, a brutal, disembodying blow. He goes down with a silent scream, trampled in the thunderous retreat. The hunt is a catastrophe. No meat, a man lost, and the chasm between the two leaders now filled with blood and blame. Back at the cave, the atmosphere is thick with a poison that has no name. The study of anthropology would call it social fission, the process by which a group fractures along internal lines of conflict. The two factions do not share the main fire. They huddle in separate, sullen groups, sharpening spears and resentments. Kale's people look at Bor with open accusation. Bor's people glare back, their pride wounded, their loyalty hardened into a fist, and the feud is the infection that prevents it from healing. As dusk settles, a new sound enters the tense quiet. A series of sharp, bird-like chirps echoes from the tree line. It is not a bird. Every hunter knows that sound. It is the call of the Deinonychus, the terrible claws. They are drawn by the scent of blood from the failed hunt, the smell of weakness. A scout peers from the rocks and returns, his face pale. A pack of 6. They are not attacking. They are watching, their intelligent, predatory eyes observing the divided camp. They sense the broken spear, the fractured spirit. They know a weak herd is an easy kill, and tonight, for the first time in its hominid history, the clan has made itself the prey. Mara watches the watchers. From the shadows of the cave, she sees the reptilian silhouettes of the Deinonychus flitting between the moonlit rocks. They are patient. They have all the time in the world. Inside the cave, the silence is a different kind of predator, just as deadly. The clan is dying from the inside out, and the scavengers have gathered to witness the suicide. Mara is the keeper of the old ways, the one who knows which roots soothe the fever, which leaves staunch a bleeding wound. Her knowledge is a form of primitive ethnobating, a deep and intuitive conversation with the green and growing things of the world. And she knows a secret that terrifies her. In a high, hidden crevice protected from the wind and the grazing beasts grows a flower. It is a small, unassuming blossom the color of a deep bruise, with a scent that is both sweet and unsettling. The ancestors spoke of it in hushed tones, a dangerous plant that could steal a man's spirit or show him the face of the gods. Mara, driven by a healer's curiosity, has studied it. She has learned its cycle, its potency. She knows it is a powerful entheogen, a key that unlocks the deepest parts of the mind. To use it is to gamble with sanity itself, but sanity has already fled their camp. She makes her choice in the cold calculus of desperation. Words have failed. The authority of tradition has failed. Only a fire in the mind can burn away this sickness. She prepares the ritual not of a healer, but of a conspirator. She gathers the other women, the mothers and daughters of the feuding hunters. She speaks to them of unity, of the children who will starve if the clan remains broken. She gives them a task. They are to prepare a special broth, a broth of strength for the two leaders, a ritual to prepare them for the inevitable battle with the raptors. It is a lie woven from a thread of truth. Kale and Bor, bound by tradition and the pressure of their followers, cannot refuse a ritual that promises power. In the dark of the cave, Mara grinds the dried petals of the whispering flower into a fine, dark powder. Her hands are steady, but her heart is a frantic drum. She is about to poison her leaders to force them on a journey into the spirit world with no map and no guide. She mixes the powder into 2 clay bowls of the hot, savory broth. The women present the bowls to Kale and to Bor. The two men sit by their separate fires, separated by a chasm of pride. They look at each other across the divide, their eyes hard with mutual contempt. They drink. The broth is bitter, but they drain the bowls to show their strength, their refusal to show weakness. Mara watches, her breath held tight in her chest. For a long moment, nothing happens. Then, she sees it. Kale's eyes widen slightly. Bor shakes his head, as if to clear a sudden fog. The edges of the firelight begin to shimmer, to warp. The whispers of the flower are beginning to speak. The world dissolves. For Kale, the fire in front of him becomes a roaring sun, the shadows in the cave turning into grasping claws. He feels the terror of the young hunter who died, the brutal impact of the spike, the crushing weight of the stampede. He feels the hunger in his own child's belly not as a thought, but as a gnawing pain in his own gut. For Bor, the faces of his men melt into masks of accusation. He sees the scorn in Kale's eyes magnified 1,000 times, a crushing judgment that echoes his own deepest insecurities. The flower is not showing them visions. It is tearing down the walls of their egos, forcing them to feel the raw, unfiltered emotions of their clan. Then, their separate journeys merge. Kale looks at Bor across the now terrifying, shifting chasm, and he sees not a rival, but a reflection of his own fear and pride. Bor looks at Kale and sees not a critic, but another man breaking under the same impossible weight of leadership. But as a single, shivering body, wounded by their own foolishness, the Deinonychus in their shared vision are no longer just predators. They are the embodiment of the clan's self-destruction, laughing demons with sickle claws. The experience is a profound and terrifying catharsis, a forced baptism in the water's empathy. They are not Kale and Bor anymore. They are nodes in a single collective consciousness, feeling the clan's pain as one. They return to themselves slowly, gasping. The embers of the real fire are a comforting anchor in a world that has been turned inside out. Tears stream down their faces, not of sorrow, but of a shattering release. Bor looks at Kale, and for the first time, he sees a brother. Kale looks at Bor and nods, a silent, absolute understanding passing between them. The feud is gone, burned to ash in the psychological crucible of the entheogen. Bor rises, walks across the space that once divided them, and clasps Kale's arm. The hunters, watching this unbelievable transformation, rise as one. The broken spear is mended, just in time. A sharp, chittering cry cuts through the night, closer this time. The Deinonychus have decided the wait is over, but they are no longer stalking a fractured, squabbling group of apes. They are about to face a unified, ray-forged clan, led by 2 men who have just returned from the fire in their minds. Humanity's greatest threats have never been the beasts with claws and teeth. They have always been the demons of our own making, pride, greed, division. We built tools of stone to kill the monsters outside, but what tools could we build to kill the monsters within? Perhaps the first shamans and healers discovered the answer not in the forge, but in the forest. They found plants that could silence the ego, that could force a perspective shift so profound it amounted to a spiritual rebirth. This was the birth of therapy, of reconciliation, not through logic, but through a chemically induced state of radical empathy. It was a dangerous, unpredictable path, but it was a recognition that sometimes the only way to save a community from itself is to shatter the minds of its leaders and let them rebuild themselves and their world from the inside out. This is the chronicle of our ascent, not a grand march, but a desperate call, written in the language of stone, sinew, and stars. And the mind is the most dangerous jungle of all.